Have you ever just stopped and wondered, where did all of this come from? I mean, every single culture, every tradition has a story about the beginning. And what's so fascinating is how often these stories, whether they're from ancient wisdom or cutting-edge science, they start to sound, well, a lot alike. So let's dive in and explore that connection.
So today, our story is the Big Bang Theory. It tells us that our entire physical universe, everything you see, spiraled out from a single point, a singularity that was billions of times smaller than the head of a pin. It's an amazing theory. But here's the thing. It doesn't tell us why it happened or even how. It describes the event, but the actual origin, well, that's still a complete mystery.
And this is where the modern story gets really weird. I mean, you'd think that after a massive explosion like the Big Bang, gravity would be pulling everything back together, right? Or at the very least, slowing the expansion down. But what we're observing is the exact opposite. The universe is expanding, and it's actually speeding up. To make the math work on that one, physicists had to come to a truly startling conclusion. Everything we can see, all the stars, the planets, the galaxies, everything we think of as the universe, makes up only 4% of what's actually out there.
So what on earth is the other 96%? Well, our best guess right now is something we call dark matter and dark energy. We can't see them, we can't detect them, but they have to be there to explain the cosmos we're living in. It's like the entire universe is being run by some kind of invisible architecture, a huge cosmic puzzle that we've only just started to piece together.
Okay, so we're starting with this massive mystery of the universe's missing pieces. But what's so cool is that this isn't just a modern scientific problem. For thousands of years, ancient traditions were asking the very same questions. They just used a different laboratory, not a particle accelerator, but the inner world of human consciousness.
You see, the ancient Vedic teachers in India taught Nada Brahma, which basically means the universe is vibration. They believed that a single, fundamental field of vibration is the root of absolutely everything we experience. It's this common ground that saints and mystics and yogis have been talking about for millennia.
The way they thought about it was through two principles that you just can't separate. First, you have Akasha. Think of it as space itself, the raw material of everything, all the unmanifest potential. Then you have Prana, which is the energy, the vibration that moves through that space to create the world we see. They're two sides of the same coin, kind of like yin and yang.
And this right here is a brilliant way to picture their vision of reality. It's called Indra's net. Just imagine an infinite web. And at every single point where the threads cross, there's a jewel. Now here's the cool part. Each jewel perfectly reflects every other jewel in the net. So the smallest part contains the pattern of the whole. It's this beautiful vision of a holographic, deeply interconnected universe.
So we've got this ancient idea, right? A connected, holographic universe that's all built on vibration. Now, let's jump forward and see how this ancient echo is reflected in a pretty stunning way in the world of modern mathematics and physics.
And for that, we need to talk about the fractal. It wasn't really until the 1980s, when we had powerful computers, that we could even see these patterns. A fractal is basically a shape where any small part you zoom into looks just like a smaller version of the whole thing. They call this property self-similarity. Sound familiar? It's basically the mathematics of Indra's net.
People have called these patterns the thumbprint of God because they are just everywhere you look, from the spiral of a galaxy to the way a tree branches, the structure of our lungs, or the petals of a sunflower. They're infinitely complex, yet they're all contained within a set boundary. It's this perfect, beautiful blend of order and chaos.
And all of this brings us right back to that core idea of vibration. The writer Goethe said the wave is the primordial phenomenon. So how exactly does a simple wave, just a vibration, end up creating all the complex shapes and forms we see all around us?
Well, there's this wonderful field of science called cymatics that lets us literally see sound in action. Way back in the 18th century, a physicist named Ernst Chladni did this really simple experiment. He just sprinkled some sand on a metal plate and then vibrated it with a violin bow. And the sand didn't just scatter everywhere. No way. It organized itself into these beautiful, intricate geometric patterns.
And here's the really crucial point. The higher the frequency of the vibration, the more complex the pattern becomes. This one simple principle shows how the universe can build incredible complexity. From leopard spots to the spiral in a sunflower, all from simple repeating waves. Vibration isn't just noise, it's a creative, ordering force.
So, let's connect this back to Akasha, that ancient idea of a primary substance that fills everything. Well, just recently, scientists at CERN confirmed the existence of the Higgs field, an invisible energy field that fills all of space and gives particles their mass. What we think of as empty space, turns out it's not empty at all. It's absolutely brimming with potential.
Discovering this was just a monumental achievement. It's as if scientists had been watching this cosmic ballet for centuries, right? They were charting the movements of all the dancers, but they always noticed that they were moving around some kind of invisible partner. Finding the Higgs field was like finally, for the first time, seeing that hidden dancer.
This brings us to a really fascinating place. We've seen how modern physics points to an invisible field shaping reality, and how vibration creates form. Now, we're kind of stepping over a threshold, into a place where the outer world of physics starts to look a whole lot like the inner world of consciousness.
The philosopher Kierkegaard said, "If you name me, you negate me." Think about that for a second. When we observe something, when we put a label on it and call it a tree or a particle, we're focusing on one specific pattern, and we're ignoring the infinite other things it could be. Our very act of looking at something actually helps bring that specific reality into being by limiting its potential.
So many traditions have a word for this creative principle. The ancient Greeks, for instance, they called it the logos. It's the origin of all pattern and form. It's that ordering intelligence that creates those beautiful geometries in the vibrating sand or in a sunflower. It's the hidden truth that once you see it, reveals the real nature of everything. The Hindu tradition has this absolutely beautiful metaphor for this, the dance of Shiva. Shiva represents the witnessing consciousness, the observer, the dancer. And Shakti is the stuff of the world, the energy, the constant change, the dance itself. And the key insight, the whole point, is that you cannot separate the dancer from the dance. They are one and the same.
So if the observer and the observed, the dancer and the dance, are actually one thing, what does that mean for us? This idea suggests that consciousness isn't just something that happens inside the universe. It's fundamental to the creation of the world we experience.
From this point of view, the biggest problems we face, social, political, economic, they aren't really the root crisis. They're just symptoms. The true crisis is a crisis of consciousness, a fundamental inability to see and to actually feel our true, deeply interconnected nature.
And this leads to a pretty profound shift in how we see ourselves. You're not just some tiny, separate person looking out at a vast, uncaring universe. No, you are an integral part of it. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the eyes through which creation sees itself.
So after this whole journey through modern science and ancient mysticism, we land at one pretty profound conclusion. Everything we see, everything we are, from the tiniest subatomic particles to entire galaxies, from you to me, it all arises from a single, unified, underlying field.
And that leaves us with a final and I think really powerful question. If we truly understood this, if we could really feel in our bones that we are all just expressions of one consciousness, one vibration in this cosmic web, how might we live differently? What in our world would begin to change?